not going to say a single word about the Tennessee Titans record against the Indianapolis Colts because I was a punter, and there's no reason for me to talk about that. With that being said, we did not punt much against the Tennessee Titans, so you probably have no clue who I am to begin.
Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper. So hot, you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff, then I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit him right in the chest. It be looking like magic, better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone, eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones. And you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long, pop the clutch, I don't pump the brakes. I know what it takes to gain the muscle, get rugged. These butterfingers be fumbling, squash the scrimmage and rub it in Robitussin. How I give them concussion, they seeing double, they rushing and pass the shovel, the dirt and rubble, I bury them under it. Stay in your huddle and get 10 yards back, never turn your back. I'ma pull your flag, I go full contact, out punch, out kick like a shotgun.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Hush Mob Podcast. And yeah, it look different right now. We're missing a couple guys. We want to send our wishes to Austin, dealing with the illness right now. So get well, Austin. But you see a new face here. I'm not sure a lot of Colts fans know him, but we know him as Ron Marber. Go ahead, Ron, and introduce yourself to all the fans that don't know you.
What's up, right, man? It's your boy Ronald, man. Thanks for the invite to the Colts podcast, man, the Horseshoe Mob. You know, I'm in the chat with you guys every day. I'm out here with you guys every day. You know, love the Colts, man, but we got some things we got to talk about, but I appreciate the time.
It's good. That's good. Yeah, it's Ronald, guys. He always have his input. Over the years, he had some positive things and some negative things, but we'll get into both tonight.
I'm the pro Frank Wright guy. That's what I'm known as. I liked Frank Wright. That was the Cardinal set. No.
You must really like potatoes then. Frank loves his potatoes.
Yes.
Hey, the TGI Friday ones are pretty good though. They're good.
I'm sure Frank thinks the same thing.
Yes. So besides the game, guys, I know it was disappointing, but how you guys feeling? I want to get into that. How you guys feeling before we get into the show?
Just me in general? Oh, me in general, I'm doing great.
You're doing great. Yeah, I know Texas is pretty good.
Hey, let's talk about it. Number one of the country. It's only been 16 years. I've been waiting my whole adult life to be this excited about a Texas team, and I think I finally can do it. Legitimately excited.
Well, we're not going to ask Ron how you feel about Florida, so we're going to leave that alone. So
yeah.
we're not going to talk about
all I want to say is thank you for being so terrible.
Oh my God! Yeah, we're not even the same. We're not even the same program anymore. You know, Vanderbilt might be better than us right now.
Ooh.
Hey.
Well,
I don't want to say it, but you might be right.
Ooh, that's pretty bad. But before we get into the show, guys, we're gonna plug in our network at www.fanbattlesports.com. Did you say, Ron? I think you have some difficulties right now.
I think he's a little laggy.
Yeah, we're gonna plug
might
in
be catching up like the Gators. Who knows?
Well, at least he got a smile. He got a good smile.
There we go.
We're going to plug in our network at www.fanbattlesports.com, where you can find all the episodes, past episodes, articles, all Colts related things on the network. So check us out at www.fanbattlesports. There he is. Still got that smile. But yeah, before we get to the game, man, I know it was a disappointing game. It was all around defense, offense, coaching. I mean, GM, everything. Anything that went wrong, it went wrong Sunday. Which brings to the topic of our episode. Week 2, is it time to panic? A lot of us panic. on Sunday. I know I did. I had some panic statements. I was a little frustrated. I wasn't upset to where I had overreactions. But yeah, I did think that we need to panic in certain areas of this team. What you think, Arish?
I can't hear you guys.
I hit this thing called the mute button. My bad.
Yeah.
There's this thing we do as Colts fans every year, and I feel like we're like trained to think this way for some odd reason, where it's like every year we're trained to think so that it's okay to start poorly. It's okay to be 0-2. It's okay to be, 1-1 or 1-5 or whatever the hell we've been. We've started 0-2 or worse for the last 10 years. And honestly, it's disgusting. Like it's terrible that we as a fan base, number one, do it, or as a franchise, we do it. It's embarrassing. Number two, like it's embarrassing that the organization accepts it as being okay, right? I'm just tired of mediocre football, and then I'm just getting it all out right now. The other piece of this is like our fan base has been so trained to do this that when you make statements like, well, why do we start 0-2? And you hear the fan base talking about, hey, man, it's a long season. Yes, it is a long season. So how exhausted do we get as a fan base to have to dig out of a hole every season because we don't know how to start a season off well? Like, give me 1-1. I'm not even asking to go 2-0. Give me 1-1. Give me somewhere that I can build off of so every season I don't have to climb a damn mountain. Like,
to get out of, yeah.
So frustrating as a fan to sit here and say, actually just looked it up. 8 out of the last 9 years. Only one time in the last 9 years have we started 1-1. That's disgusting. And that is all on Chris Ballard. It's not on the coaching. It's not on the players. It's all on Chris. It starts at the top. Stop blaming the coaches.
Thank you.
You can blame the coaches. The GM sets the roster. No, Shane Steichen does not set the roster. That is not his role. Because the other thing is first you want to say it's his job to set the roster, but then you tell me it's his job to coach the team. This dude, as a rookie head coach, took this team to 9-8 last year. We had an opportunity to truly build this team and fill gaps and holes the right way to really accelerate the start of this team. You had a rookie quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. Anthony Richardson has only played 3 games. He really played 2 full games beginning to end in the last 2 years. And we are failing to do the right thing to put pieces around him to be successful on the defensive end. I have pulled some stats, and I'll just start there. I will start with this is all Chris Ballard's fault, and I don't care what anybody says. This is all Chris. 100% of the blame goes to Chris Ballard. That's all.
Well, like you said, we see another young guy in Carolina got benched in his second year, and the team made trading guys away like DJ and CMC and Brian Burns, like those guys there. They traded away and didn't get anything back in return.
Nothing.
So yeah, we see that.
Carolina's a shit show. That's completely different.
That's the real worst owner in the NFL right now. David Tepper is the worst owner in the NFL. And look, Bryce Young's not playing well, but you can't put it on him. You didn't even let Frank Reich coach a whole season. You brought in a whole new coaching staff the entire season, and you didn't even play the guy in the preseason. He's only played 2 games. I'm not even a Bryce Young believer, but that's not even giving the guy a chance.
Yeah, but the whole Frank Reich, the fact that they even hired Frank Reich shows you how terrible an organization that is. Nobody
there were reports coming out of Carolina that Frank Reich did not want Bryce Young. He wanted C.J. Stroud, your guy. And David Tepper made the decision that he wanted Bryce Young instead.
Wow, it's almost like, well, you know what? We're not going down that rabbit hole.
Save that one.
We're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
Those are true reports. I know no one wants to hear anything good about Frank, but he did not want Bryce Young. He did not. And his system does not fit a quarterback like Bryce Young, so it didn't work.
We got to come in.
No, I wouldn't want him either. So
Teresa said, "Hey guys, we got to comment here." Teresa said, "Hey guys,
what's up?"
But yeah, man, let's go ahead and jump into the show, man. I know we had, like I said, is it time to panic? You guys think it's time to panic or what?
I do. I think it's time to panic. We have to win Sunday. We have to win Sunday. We have to win Sunday. It's
I like this squad
because I like this squad too. But here's, like you said, Anthony Richardson is a rookie. Okay. Mm-hmm. We still don't know what we're going to get from him on a week-to-week basis on offense. We came into this season being so excited about the potential explosiveness of the offense, but the best offenses in the league are methodical right now, okay? And the explosive plays can be there, but, like, we need to be balanced. We need to do everything we can to make the game easier for Anthony Richardson. Right. We had 12 rushes yesterday for Jonathan Taylor. He averaged like over 11 yards a carry. Anthony wasn't playing well. Why are you not running the ball with Jonathan Taylor and giving Jonathan Taylor the ball? Like, why? He's a rookie. Quit acting like because he played, 4 non-finished games last year and he played well in those games, that means he's incapable of having a bad game this year? No, Anthony Richardson is going to have some bad games this year. All right, everybody thinks that he's not going to turn the ball over. He's not going to have a bad moment. He had a bad game yesterday. We're not going to blame him because it's really not all his fault. He has to develop. He has to grow. But a lot of this falls into Chris Ballard and what he's done to our defense. Like, this is why I've been such a huge defender of Gus Bradley. You could say, okay, well, he had good players. You need good players across the board to have a good defense in the NFL. There are too many good skill position players in the NFL, and there are too many good dynamic quarterbacks. We did not help our secondary. Okay, we drafted Latu. He's really the only different player on that front. So, the linebackers are pretty much all special teams guys who developed into starting linebackers. Like there were no resources dumped into that position group either after Darius Leonard. None. We even let Bobby Okereke walk. So Chris Ballard likes to talk about depth and doing it the right way. Well, you had a quarterback on a rookie deal and you did nothing. You did nothing. You did nothing. You drafted, and if you don't hit on all of your picks, you did nothing. We have to win next week or we will be in a huge hole. I think so. We have to win. We have to beat the Bears.
For the 10th year in a row, we'll be in a huge hole.
Yes.
That's so like. Here's the thing: any GM that goes 10 years with one playoff win would have been fired by now.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is disgusting the work that Chris Ballard has done with this team. It is so disgusting, and I don't care if people say I'm overreacting. I don't care if you think I'm panicking. Yes, I am in a full-out panic. This is not good. Like, as the GM, if you stick to your guns, and if you want to, like, live or die by whatever, right? It is just so, like, and then now we just look, see, now what we do is we do this thing where we give Chris Ballard this out. Well, Latu's hurt, Buckner's hurt, Billy Bob Joe is hurt, whoever, everyone's hurt. Dang, now we go into the offseason. What was Chris Ballard supposed to do? Everybody was hurt that he drafted. And then we just do the whole thing again. We just go in circles and circles and circles, excuses after excuses after an excuse. You know what? I feel like as a Colts fan, I owe Dan Dakich like the most sincerest apology in the history of the world. Because he told us this
I can't do that.
He told us this like 7 years ago.
He did.
It's crazy how right he was about this whole scenario. And it is embarrassing that this franchise I honestly think Jim Irsay's on his way out the door, so I don't think he cares anymore. And so, like, I legitimately don't think he cares about the franchise like winning at this point. I think he's got his own issues to deal with, and I hope he gets better. And he's stepped away from the team so much, and Chris Ballard has run this franchise into the ground. Now, as far as panicking, I don't know if it's time. I think it's time to be really, really like scared, but I don't know if panic is the right word. I still believe in Shane Steichen as a coach.
Yeah.
And I believe in Shane Steichen as a coach because he's still young. It's only his second year. Yes, I know he should have ran Jonathan Taylor on 3rd and 1. But I think Shane Steichen is trying to, again, overcome the lack of talent on this team. And who I would really like to blame is Michael Pittman Jr., Zaire Franklin, Kwity Paye, like the veterans on the Quentin Nelson, like the veterans on this team, the leaders on this team. They always say how like football is all about like camaraderie and chemistry, and guys like to. I don't see that in this team. I just see a bunch of guys that were put together.
Yeah, that's what it looks like so far. Yeah.
And like these guys don't play for each other. Like they talk, like Anthony Richardson talks about it all the time, but how many people are truly bought into what's happening? Like, really think about it. Do you really think Quentin Nelson is bought into what he's being sold after he's been doing this for 8 years? You really think like the team doesn't see that this guy is not doing anything to really improve this team, to push this team over the top? Like Chris Ballard wants to live in mediocrity, and I think it's impacted the team.
Before we get into, both of you guys had valid points. Before we get into the next part of the show or next banner on the show, I'm gonna read a comment from Teresa. She said, right, and they keep putting AR in the same league with Peyton Manning and Luck. We got to give him time to find a rhythm and groove. He's young and it's going to take time. Our defense needs to step up, and Gus Bradley needs to shape the fuck up. I help her out with that one. But let's get into the show, man. Let's get into what everybody has been waiting for. Let's get into these reactions of this game, starting with Ron. What you think?
Man, it's just a disappointing game. You know, the run defense obviously was ridiculous. And, you know, Gus Bradley, I believe, can tighten that up. I don't think our run defense has ever looked that bad unless we've played Derrick Henry under his reign. I mean, Derrick Henry has always given us problems in his prime, but that was disgusting. But I got to put this on the players, like Harish said, man. Like, you know, there are players on that defense that have been here for many years. The only new player on that front is Latu. He's a first-round pick. And, you know, the plays that they ran in Green Bay, I'll give them some credit. They drew up some nice stuff, but it wasn't anything that should have been out of the ordinary that the players themselves should not have been prepared for. Like, it's Malik Willis. You know he's not a drop-back quarterback. There's going to be a lot of motion, misdirection, zone read, quarterback option. And, like, guys are just going for Brandon Jacobs, not setting the edge. And then when they don't, then they leave Brandon Jacobs with a whole 5 yards to go untouched to get into the second level. You know, so, you know, the front seven has just been, for a unit that's played better in years past under Gus Bradley, for the moment, I'm going to blame the players because they've played better consistently for years and years against the run. But that was abysmal. Offensively, like I said, Anthony Richardson, he's a rookie. He is still a rookie. All right, he missed some throws. We had some drops. He had some turnovers. We ran the ball equally as well as the Packers if we would have ran it as much. And we still had a chance to win the game, you know, despite a few mistakes. But, you know, next week, I think will tell us everything that we need to know about our football team. Because I think next week is a bit of a trap game. It's not going to be an easy game to play the Bears. But overall, offensively, man, it's just so sloppy. We got to clean it up. Guys got to get on the same page. And Shane Steichen needs to stop fiddling with Richardson and set an identity for the season. Do you want Richardson to throw the ball, or do you want to compliment him and play complimentary football? Because he's a rookie quarterback. He's not a toy. Do you want to develop him, or do you think he's good enough to throw it 35 times a game? I don't see that. We need to compliment him.
I agree. What you think, Harish?
So we had 9 missed tackles as a team on Sunday.
That can't happen.
Disgusting.
That's
I think
mad.
it's a mixture. That's a mixture of players and coaching. Like, yeah, I do think Gus Bradley is to blame for this. I do think the players are to blame for this. I think everybody's to blame for this. Here's the thing. When you have a press conference, and I don't know if you got a chance to hear Gus Bradley talk. I heard him talk for 5 minutes and I turned it off. I didn't listen anymore. When he's like, well, you know, they did all these motions and they did all this, like, you know, they like picked their nose for 20 minutes and then they snapped the ball and our players weren't ready. Why were they not ready? What were they expecting from Malik Willis? Like, literally, what else were they? Like, you know what you're getting. And to tell me that your players are not prepared, I can count on both hands how many times we've heard that under this regime. We weren't ready. We didn't expect it. We don't know what we were doing. We weren't communicating. These are not, and then just 9 missed tackles is crazy. You're in the NFL and you've missed 9 tackles, like giving up on, and then like to justify, well, yeah, we gave up like 700 yards in the first quarter, but look at the rest of the game. Like, we did great. We finally settled in. But the problem is you played from behind the entire game against a team that was handicapped. Like, we can argue all day long about like whose fault it is. It's on everybody. It's week 2. We didn't come prepared. We're confused about motions. Like, they're not doing anything crazy. They literally motioned back and forth and read inside zone, outside zone. And then it's like, well, we didn't cover the holes. Why didn't you cover the holes? You just paid this guy like $70 million, Zaire Franklin, and the guy can't fill a hole. Like, what is this guy doing? Yeah, but it's on everyone. Like, this is the performance on the field is abysmal. I'll say it again. It's disgusting. And it needs to change. Like, this is coaching, this is players, this is water boys. It's everybody. It's gross. Like, to miss 9 tackles in one NFL game is crazy.
That could be the most in a game this year if we end up looking that up in the NFL. That could be bad. 9 missed tackles is a lot.
Just to compare to last year, I'm gonna go check. Let me see. You guys look at that. I'm gonna go see what the most amount of missed tackles we had last year was. I'll go check. You guys can talk.
Well, I want to add that there's not short of a player making tackles, and that's Nick Cross. I want to give him his props. The past these 2 games, Nick Cross had been our best defensive player, hands down. I think he had like 13 tackles or 14 tackles week 1, and I think he had added like 12 week 2.
So it's crazy. We came into the season worrying about how those 2 safeties would tackle. They've actually made tackles, but that's because every running back is getting into the second level of our fucking defense. So they've had no choice to make the tackle, because if they don't, then we're going to be watching those guys go to the house every single play. And my only kickback to Reese about Gus is when your players are playing like shit, that's what you're supposed to say. You can't throw your players under the bus. You got to be a professional coach and say they weren't ready. That's on me. You know, we got to play better. Like, you know, despite what people want to say, DeForest Buckner was up there getting pushed off the line of scrimmage too. All those guys were getting knocked off the line of scrimmage, or when the reverse would come or this option would come, they just weren't disciplined. It was just bad.
Yeah. I actually take that back. We under this regime, we just suck at tackling. Like, I saw I saw a game last year where we missed 16 tackles.
Oh,
so never mind.
Was that the Browns game?
This was last year. It was like the Texans last year, I think, week 2.
Oh, damn.
In a game that we ended up winning by like what? We had 8 missed tackles in week 2 against the Texans. Oh, against the Ravens, we had 16 missed tackles. That's a game we won. We had 16 missed tackles.
In the past,
that's crazy.
In the past, we relied on one guy. We relied on Darius Leonard to make all the tackles. I think last 2 years we relied on Zaire Franklin to make all the tackles. I think EJ was up there in tackles as well. This year it seemed like it's going to be Nick Cross if we don't get that rush defense fixed between starting Sunday. Actually need to be starting because you got another good runner and Swift. So you definitely got to. I mean, have you noticed that we got a lot of good running backs coming up? I mean, I think we got the Steelers game. They got two good running backs, Najee Harris and Warren.
If I'm not mistaken, they were talking about earlier today. Teams are running the football so far this season more than they have in a very, very long time. And it's because of the quarterback play and the offense play has been a little sloppy. But I think maybe some more teams maybe just want to play more complementary football. Run the ball. You don't have to be so aggressive, especially if you're going to go for it on fourth down. So many more teams do that nowadays. So you can run the ball more if you're going to make it 4-down territory. So.
Yeah, I think that is true. Like, I'd be curious to see what like the run percentage is, and I actually think I can check. But
the
yeah,
Bears, they ran it 26 times Sunday night, but they only got 18 yards, but they still kept it honest, even though they got nothing.
Yeah, they did keep it honest, but I think the Bears are a little bit different. I think they're trying to like keep Caleb Williams upright because I think they know how bad their offensive line is.
It's terrible.
And so, but that's not our team. I don't care what the Bears do. But yeah, I do think running the ball is probably like more easing the way into the season now because they understand like how long these. I think you've got a couple years under your belt now, right? You like teams understand like how much more grueling the extra 2 games are, the extra game is, and so I think that's more of like a unintentional mindset to say we got a long season. We can't just sit here and throw the ball 40 times a game.
Yeah, I agree. I'm getting to
especially in a league where pass protection is actually at a minimum. You get your quarterback hurt like that.
It's not very good either. Yeah. Quarterbacks are having to run out of the pocket a lot more than they've ever had before. I mean, if guys are just standing back there and throwing the ball, that's one thing. But now it's like the pass rushers are better, right? The quarterbacks getting out of the pocket, like their pass rushers are faster. Like we have pass rushers that are running like fucking 4.6 40s now. Like it's crazy. So it's insane. So I think it's a mixture of a lot of different things.
All right, I'm going to get to some comments before we get to our next segment. You got Mike Newsom says, look on the bright side. At least AR isn't throwing underhand tosses from the hash to the sideline. Yeah. Then you got a Saints fan who happy they beat the Cowboys, and he's agreeing to everything we're saying that is negative. So screw him. Mike again, he said Coach D was bad. The Packers center was throwing up, looking at. All right, y'all 0-2 as well. Yeah, he's
0-2 because they like mayonnaise. We're 0-2 because we suck.
Yeah, Saints fan again. Blame everybody. I forget you. We got Adam J. What's good, man?
What's up, Adam? Man.
Adam had a comment says Shane holding first half timeouts like they roll over, pissing me off. He did do that. Teresa, the players are getting paid millions of dollars, but they're not playing like $1 million players. I agree. Is it Gus or Chris? It's really both. Adam again, totally fine with they all playing like the rookie is. The rest of this is embarrassing, y'all. I agree. 100%. Let's get into the fans' reaction of Anthony Richardson. I'm not sure if you guys have been seeing it all over the place, but I've seen a comment where they say he's a buzz. We shouldn't have drafted him. He can't do this, can't do that. But before I get into my reactions to that, Harish, you got that comment from this fan?
I do. I've got 2 of them actually, and this is one of them. The Colts are dead. Steichen does not know how to use the weapons we have. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but so no, go for it.
Yeah, which is crazy because that's what I think that's the hashtag that Pat used yesterday on his segment or on his show yesterday. So I disagree with this tweet because we weren't dead, and Shane can make can use a lot of his weapons because he used the running back when he didn't need to use them. Like you said, you had JT running with 5 yards of carry, but you take him out on his one play was 3rd and 2, and we got negative yardage when he wasn't in. And his response to that was he was just letting Trey Sermon get some play, get some burn in, get some reps in. So he's spreading the ball over the field. I've been saying it for 2 weeks that he's giving more guys opportunities to make plays. And that's Alec Pierce, who maybe contract is up in 2 years. Give him opportunity to play. A.D. Mitchell, he's getting more targets. I think he got like 9 targets. He got 9 targets total in the first 2 weeks. So he's spreading the ball around. He's just, just making, it's a quarterback learning, developing, making those, bad passes, turning the ball over. It got room to grow. So, I mean, there's going to be those things. So I think that's a little bit of overreaction on Shane, but the other one is a big overreaction.
Yeah, it's overreaction for me. To say that Shane can't use the weapons we had when Gardner Minshew had guys looking pretty good last year,
he went to the Pro Bowl.
Is you know what I mean? It's pretty ridiculous. You know what I mean? And that's no too bad of a knock on Gardner. He played good for the Raiders in their game, but that's a ridiculous overreaction. That's a ridiculous overreaction. It's a shame. That's crazy.
We have another one. Anthony Richardson is a bust. I said it. Colts offense should run through Jonathan Taylor. Just run the damn ball. I don't want to overreact, but what you guys think about this tweet? I obviously don't agree with it, but what you guys
just
think?
delete half of it, and it makes perfect sense. Our offense should run through Jonathan Taylor. He is the best player on our offense right now. No matter how talented Anthony is, he's the quarterback. He has to develop into being a better quarterback. So it really pisses me off watching Colt fans just throw Anthony under the bus like that, because it's not his fault he got hurt last season. And it's also not his fault that because we almost won the division with Minshew, the expectations in this season were actually, in my opinion, pretty high when you don't know how he's going to play. It's not fair to him, So I'm not, that's a complete overreaction. But the offense does need to run through Jonathan Taylor. This guy held out a fucking camp last year and held out last year for money, and we paid him. And he looked good to end the season last year, and he looks good right now. I think, if anything, it's both overreaction. Watch. Next week, Jonathan Taylor will be featured and highlighted against the Bears in that offense. Shane knows what he's doing.
Do you know why the expectations have risen?
But we like the group we have.
Risen because we like what we have.
That's why.
I saw the clip coming.
Chris Ballard sold us a pipe dream like he does every year. He's like, guy, you remember his offseason press conference? And I told you guys, I thought the first thing I said is like, this guy is not doing anything this offseason. Don't expect anything. Yeah. When you come into a press conference at the end of the season and say, look, guys, we're doing really, really good. We just, Anthony Richardson's going to be back. We have a young secondary. They just need to play more. Remember, secondary is really hard to play in the NFL. Like Chris Ballard keeps selling this pipe dream to the fan base, and the fan base eats it all up, right, for an off season. And then when you criticize what happens, and when you criticize anything against what the fan base says, you're like the redheaded stepchild of this fan base. And people are finally starting to see what this really is. And then we go to the draft and we look at Nick Cross, 6th round safety. It's basically like, man, this dude's gonna be a baller. He runs like a 4.1 40. He benches like 900 pounds. Look at this guy. He's gonna be his RAS score is 9.7,000. Like, this is crazy. This guy's a beast. That's what we get sold every year. He has the fastest RAS score in the history of RAS. And that's why we have these high expectations, because we're sold high expectations for Chris Ballard. As you will very well see, everything points back to the GM. because he built this disaster of a team. He sold us a pipeline, this pipe dream of a disaster of a team. He's had 3 years to fix the secondary, and he didn't. He's just filled holes and band-aids, and we call it depth. We don't call it talent. There's no talent.
There's no depth and there's no talent.
Our only talent are two guys, Kenny Moore and Julian Blackman. Blackman's been injured for half the time he's been here, but yet we paid him. But yet we let go of Bobby Okereke, who is probably our best tackler, and we signed a 7th round EJ Speed to an extension who wants to run podcasts. That is I don't think you can put this. You can post it to the internet. I don't really care. This team is not built properly. It's built like trash. I said it at the beginning of the year. I said it in the offseason, and I'm still going to say it. This team is built like trash. And that is when you build trash, you get trash. And that is what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I agree with Wayne. AR is the least of our worries. AR is going to go through a lot of growing pains. Some of these fans would have couldn't Peyton Manning, which Peyton Manning had he still leads the league in the interception as a rookie, I think. And look how he turned out. So people love to overreact on the first 2 seasons of having a new quarterback. So just relax. You got to be patient. Got to be patient with the guy because we knew coming in that he's going to be a developing quarterback. We didn't have a quarterback in front of him that could play well while he sit. So he's out there playing, getting those bad throws, getting those turnovers out the way now. He's going to still continue to throw them, but he's getting them out the way now to the point where he know how to read those certain reads. The play that he forced to Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman, they was just bad plays. I mean, he lofted up to Alec Pierce. That's something you can't do that. But I'm sure that he would love to have that back. Sure. So a lot of fans just overreacting with that.
Yeah, it's complete overreaction. And if you look at actual games played from college to now, AR is still arguably the most inexperienced quarterback in football. Yet he's shown some really good signs.
And the youngest.
So I'm totally with you guys.
There's a reason why I was tooting my horn so hard for CJ Stroud when he came out. He was a 3-year starter in college. Guess what? 3-year starters in college transitioned to the NFL very well. He was a Heisman Trophy finalist. He played very high-level football at the college level. He played very well against one of the best defenses to arguably be one of the best defenses in college football history, and he actually dusted them. Yeah. This guy was a stud from the moment I saw him in college, and I was like, look, I knew CJ Stroud was the best quarterback in that class, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. But Chris Ballard, he screws anything else up. He, won too many games, and we didn't get the number 2 pick. We got the number 4 pick. So this is the cards that we were dealt because our terrible GM is terrible at building teams and terrible at tanking. So this is why so you were going to have to be patient with it, Anthony Richardson. But yeah, CJ Stroud was easily the best quarterback in that class. If we had this offense with CJ Stroud, it'd be the best offense in football right now. I have no doubts about it. I have 0 doubts about that.
I don't know about that, but I would say top 5. I don't know.
I have 0 doubts CJ Stroud would make.
I don't know. It would be really good if you watch CJ play, man. He's so great at getting through his progressions. That's one of the most important parts of your job as a quarterback is if option 1 and 2 is not there, what about 3 and 4? And then to have that mental reflex to know that you still have an option in the flat. He just always seems to know to go with the football, and that's something that usually you have to develop. That's actually the one thing in AR's game that you got to give him time to develop. It takes time to trust all your progressions, be willing to stand and or slide in the pocket. You see CJ, he's not always scrambling outside, getting outside the tackle. He's using his pocket, and he's keeping his eyes where they need to be while he's going through his progressions, and he's an unbelievably accurate quarterback. So,
that's the key right there. CJ Stroud is the most – I can – maybe outside of Peyton Manning, maybe Tom Brady, I cannot name a more accurate quarterback I've ever watched play. Like every time, like sometimes whenever you see quarterbacks get outside the pocket, even it's just like the extended play, they throw the ball and you're like, damn, he's gonna throw a pick. I throw the ball, and like when CJ Stroud throws the ball, I'm like, damn, he got that 3rd and 28. Like we're dead. Like he knows exactly what he's doing with that ball.
You guys didn't see Drew Brees play. He's damn good at accurate.
Drew, there was a lot of really accurate quarterbacks. I wouldn't say that CJ Stroud's like right behind Manning or Brady, but like he is definitely an elite, accurate throwing of the ball. Like he can spin it, he can dime it, he can put it over the top. He can beat it in tight windows. He can put it low where it gets out of the outstretched arms of the coverage. Like that, like, everyone praised that throw to Nico against us in week 1. That is an unbelievable throw to the sidelines, right on the sticks of the chains. And yes, give Nico credit for catching that ball, but that's the only place that ball can go in order for that play to even be there. Like, so I got to admit, give Harish his flowers on CJ Stroud. Everything that he did in college, 100% translated into the NFL, and it wasn't just because he had weapons. He's that smart.
Well, he did. He had one of the best receivers in the draft, so he did have a good weapon. I'm not taking away from CJ. No,
he did. He did. That was my knock with CJ. He had first-round receivers around him everywhere, but he came into the league, proved me wrong, and proved Harish right, and has really outperformed. I hate the Texans. They still suck, but I'll give them credit. They did the right thing. They got the right guy.
And their GM also built the right before he got there and didn't make excuses. Anyway, neither here nor there.
No, we can get.
Let's get into some sad news.
To do that or anything.
Let's get into some sad news, guys. On Sunday, we lost 2 important pieces on our defense. One being our 15th overall pick, Latu. He got injured, but he's going to be day-to-day. And then today we got news that DeForest Buckner will be out at least 4 weeks. After being placed on IR. So how you guys feel about those 2 injuries that just from already bad defense already, but losing 2 guys that was vital on our defense?
That's why we should fire Chris Ballard.
Man, that my guy.
Listen, man. This is where I cook. All right, look. Chris Ballard obviously came into his own offseason with a plan, right? He wanted to go get Danielle Hunter. He offered him more money. He called and showed interest about L'Jarius Sneed. And the best GMs always have a plan A, but then what's your plan B?
Correct.
What was his plan B? And for me, I didn't even agree with paying Grover Stewart. He's an older guy. He's only really a run stopper. He's not very athletic. So in my opinion, the older he gets, in my opinion, the more unreliable he might get. So we've been talking about this the whole podcast. Like Chris Ballard's been talking about, we're doing this for depth. We're doing this for grade and value at the position. But when I look at our entire defense, I don't like what we have at all, really, outside of a few guys' names that I like. I love Buckner, and I like Pay, and I like Latu. But I don't like much of what we have on defense. And luckily, we're playing the Bears. Like, that's a blessing in disguise. We're playing the Bears, one of the worst offensive lines in football. So, that's like a saving grace because we have no depth, So
here's the thing.
It's going to be really tough.
Saving grace? Like, if you can't tackle Malik Willis, you want to tackle DeAndre Swift and Caleb Williams?
I believe the Bears' interior offensive line is the worst in football, the whole left side of it. Left tackle, left guard, center. It's bad. We can beat them up there. We can put Pay over there and put some guys over there, and we can make it complicated for them. Load the box. If Bradley wants me to keep defending him, he needs to do that next week and do his job and help us win a football game. Because if they run the ball again, then it's really on him at that point. Because even though we're losing players, we already know what we're going to get from Chicago. We know what we're going to get.
Yeah, and then Keenan Allen's going to be out. We'll see. But to give it, kind of get back. This hurts me a lot. Like, you guys know how much I love DeForest Buckner, and so to see him get hurt the way he did, man, it was so tough to watch. This is my favorite player on the team. I was a huge. This is one of the rare moves that Chris Ballard made that I absolutely loved. I loved the DeForest Buckner move when we made it, and just like
He's been a good
everybody
player.
knows, on the core of this team, Chris Ballard wasted his entire career. He absolutely wasted DeForest Buckner, and I hope Defo gets well really soon. Man, this one stings me, man. This is easily my favorite player on the team, and so this one hurt really bad. So I hope he gets well soon. This one stung a lot for me.
I want to talk about this comment by Adam. He said, "I'm blowing this YouTube chat up solo as the mother." Appreciate that, Adam.
We appreciate
It's all love, Adam. Appreciate it, man.
Go Colts, Alex AG. Shout out to Alex. We're gonna move on to the next part of a show. Everybody got questions about this. Probably the whole league has a question about this. What is wrong with the Colts run defense? I'm not seeing. I mean, like we said, we see Mixon, Joe Mixon. I thought he was done. I ain't gonna say washed, but I didn't think he had it in him to rush for 150 against us. Then the very next week, Josh Jacobs is a good running back. I'm not gonna minimize his talent on the field, but the thing is, we knew going in with them having a not so talented quarterback that they're gonna run the ball. I think everybody knew that. And they did what they were supposed to do with everybody, including their dual threat and receiver running back. They use that in the backfield. Number 11, I can't remember his name. I'm shooting blanks right now. But they used that run to where Malik was very effective in the passing game. He did the bare minimum to move the chains. But the team wasn't prepared for none of that because they knew that they had to stop the run, and they did not do that.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead. One of y'all want to break down, or both of y'all can break down that what you think about the run defense.
No, go ahead, Arish. Go ahead.
I mean, it's we just don't tackle. It's that simple. You don't fit. You don't have the proper run fits. I think what do we see earlier? Somebody said like we have like the second highest run block win rate, but yet we have one of the worst run defenses in the league. Like that doesn't make any sense. Here's how I know our run defense sucks. This run defense is terrible. This is how I know. We have one of the best run block rates in the league. It's like third. And then our top player in run defense is a safety, a backup safety.
That's
how I know that our run defense is trash. Our linebackers, and we had 9 missed tackles last week. We had 6 missed tackles the week before against Houston. Believe it or not, we lost the game to Houston last year because we can't tackle. This team cannot tackle a shoe. Like I couldn't put a tackle. Like if you put one of those tackle dummies in front of them, I'm not convinced they could tackle it. They probably miss it. Like honestly, just standing.
What's so funny about that? They did that in preseason. I mean, in training camp where Latu and Pay and all those was hitting that dummy all over the place. I think Latu knocked down the coach, but not doing that in the game. So that's definitely frustrating.
Teresa wants to know how you fix it. Well, you start by coaching tackling. Like literally, you have to coach tackling. These are professional football players. At this level, you have to tackle. Like the little art, and DeForest Buckner got hurt because of the angle that he took on his tackle, and that's why he did it. But at least he tried to tackle somebody because hell, ain't nobody else tackling anybody. Our safety leads the league in tackles. That's embarrassing. He's a backup safety.
Yes, that is a super embarrassing stat right there.
Like this isn't something to be proud of. Like your backup safety leads the league in tackles. That means every running back on damn near every play is getting into the second and third level.
I agree. I agree with this right here. Tackling is a mentality. It should be.
But it's also form. It's like the way you tackle. It's the angle that you take. It is a mentality, but it's also like you have to be taught how to do like the I'm a Texas man.
I don't see you have to be taught that. You got 2 guys are on a podcast talking about the trenches, and you're not showing that for 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
Where's
the trenches are fine. We don't tackle. Like we don't gang up. We don't form tackle. We tackle from the side. We do these weird. I don't know what we're doing when we're tackling. We're like almost like it's the Shaq Leonard. Yeah, these big hip drop tackles are changing. I agree. It's the Shaq Leonard mentality of like being more about getting the defense, getting the ball out of the running back's hands and popping the ball out and trying to force a fumble rather than just tackling the damn dude. Like Joe Mixon is maybe washed, but he's also really big. And when you're trying to like go up on a guy and not getting under him and trying to like use your leverage to tackle the dude, he's gonna run your ass over. Like it's just that this is physics, right? And so how do you fix it? You coach tackling. That's literally how you fix it. You coach. The scheme needs to be how do you fill your gaps, and then the coaching needs to be how do you tackle. So I think it's scheme and coaching. And you know, if you can't teach tackling properly at this level, then we're screwed. We are truly screwed, which I think we are anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, tackling is obviously the number one issue. You'll never be a good defense in the league if you don't tackle well. Yet somehow we haven't been one of the worst defenses, even though we don't tackle well. You know, see, being a good run defense is not just about the 4 guys up front. Okay, that's why there's a second and a third level of the defense. And when you go up against teams like Green Bay, you go up against teams like Houston, who run the systems they have. This is not let's move you off the ball against your will run scheme. This is a zone scheme where guys are trying to get angles to get leverage so that way they can get the corner and use their blocks. And our guys on the edges and on the second levels are just playing like dog shit, bro. Like either they're not good or they need to play better. When you have Joe Mixon constantly running the corner, he gets the edge. And not only does he get there untouched, but like Harish would say, then the first person who meets him in the second level doesn't make the tackle. So then this guy gets into the third level of the defense. You want to know why Nick Cross leads the league in tackles? Because of that shit right there. Every time there's a zone run play or a misdirection play, our linebackers or our defensive ends are either not setting the edge, getting beat that way, or when they do get there, they don't make the tackle. So, you know, Gus Bradley needs to do a better job, and Chris Ballard, you know, we gave Zaire Franklin a contract. I would like to think he can turn his season around and play better, but our linebackers look like some of the worst linebackers in the league right now. Like you do have to have a second level of your defense to play good defense, especially against the run. I mean, if you play a 4-3, you got 4 down linemen versus 5 offensive linemen. So the second level of your defense does have to be disciplined, and they have to tackle well. Like Ballard, like you say, likes those RAC scores where guys can jump high, lift lots of weights, and run good 40s. But like, if you're not going to get guys in the right position, all right, and these guys aren't going to be like, they can't play physical, they can't play downhill when they tackle. Like, you're not going to make tackles. So we're not. I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're not blaming Gus Bradley. We're blaming not only Gus Bradley, we're blaming the players as well, because it's a mentality that to go get that tackle. And those guys are. Hey, Tressa.
No. I'm definitely blaming Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley deserves some blame in this because he's not teaching tackling. The scheme is one thing, right? But like when you have a defensive coordinator, they are also responsible for them to be able to tackle. Like that is a responsibility they have that they should be the position coaches, the defensive coordinator, all of it, right? It all goes to coaching and scheme. Both of those things are important.
Yeah, but my pushback to that, Harish, will be this. Okay, so if you just went back and looked at our missed tackle numbers and you're telling me that they're all bad every year, why is it not fair to say that Chris Ballard can't find guys who can fucking tackle? Like tackling is still a thing. Like if you're just not good at it, you're going to keep leaving players out there who can't. So we can't tackle, but we're just going to say, hey, Gus, let's make these guys who can't tackle. They've been here for 3 years. Hey, go out there and make them tackle, and they still can't tackle. Chris Ballard did nothing to help the second level or the third level of our defense, in my opinion. Like it has to be good at every level if you want to play good defense.
You know what's really funny? I think you can go ahead and put that comment back up, Josh, about why aren't players playing to their full potential. Let me tell you why, Teresa. Because they're 5th, 6th, and 7th round draft.
All on defense. All of them.
This is their ceiling. I just looked at the defense. Taekwon is starting, and he's a 2nd round pick. Middle linebackers. EJ Speed, 5th round pick. Zaire Franklin, 7th round pick. Jalen Carles, 5th round pick. Nick Cross, 3rd round pick. Okay, whatever.
Thomas,
7th round pick. Jalen Jones, 7th round pick. And then Kenny Moore is on the other side, undrafted. They are playing to their potential. That's the problem. Their ceiling is not high. Like these guys, like they have maxed out theirs. We are paying bums and expecting them to play like the most elite of the elite in the entire league.
Those are all starters too, correct? Like those are guys who are starting for us today. So that means we have 6 starters who are 5th round picks or below. I feel like you got to give Gus Bradley a little bit more than that if you expect to be like elite at the defense. I just feel like you got to do better than that. He does need to do a better job. But man, Chris Ballard, you know, if the same guys out there can't tackle, I'm not leaving the same guys out there.
Yeah.
I do agree.
EJ Speed's been here for years. Zaire Franklin's been here for years. Thomas been here for a couple years. Blackman been here for a couple years. You know, Taekwon Lewis has been here for a couple years. Kwity Paye. Like, if these guys can't set the edge and make the tackles, like, you know, yeah, Gus Bradley, yeah, we'd like to work on coaching, but those guys can't seem to do it themselves either.
By the way, yeah. So yeah, this is just lack of talent. It's lack of talent. They're not playing. They are playing to their potential. The problem is that potential is not very high because they're not very high guys to be. You can't rely on 5th, 6th, and 7th round draft picks to be, you know, not every 5th round draft pick is a Troy Polamalu, right? Not every 6th round draft pick is a Zach Thomas. Like that is unrealistic to expect. There is a reason why they call these guys diamonds in the rough. It's not diamonds in water. They're diamonds in the rough.
Well, I'm going to say this before we move on, is that both of you guys are right. He drafted those guys in the 5th, 6th, 7th round and expected a gem and a diamond in the rough. And that's what, you know, Zaire is working out. EJ played well last year. This year he's not playing well. Blackman's hurt. Nick Cross league in tackles. The other guys are rookies. And Thomas is pathetic. So you get what you pay for. You get what you draft. You can't expect if you didn't draft a guy between 1st and 4th round and expect him to be a guy to break out every year, and you draft the guys from 5th to 7th, you get what you're paying for. We're gonna go ahead and move on to one of our conversation we had last night in the past 2 weeks about a guy that's was paid as well. He recently been named the captain on our offense and the receiving core, and he been pretty bad the past 2 games. I wouldn't say bad, but he haven't paid to his potential and for his status and what he paid for. So question would be, should MPJ do more to help the offense? I know Harish, you ready for this one? Go ahead.
Yes. The simple answer is yes. If you expect anything less from Michael Pittman Jr. than excellence, then you are letting him off the hook. Here's the thing. I'm not a big fan of PFF, right? But he is playing, I think it's like 96% of the snaps or something crazy like that. I'm checking right now. When you're playing 96% of the snaps and you're playing it at like, you know, at that wide receiver run, 1. So I think this year, so he played 81% of the snaps against Houston. He played 80% of the snaps against Green Bay. as the wide receiver, as a wide out, right? And then he also played 20% of the snaps in the slot. Like, he's playing basically almost the entire game. Here it is. He played every snap against Houston. He played 94% of the snaps against Green Bay. He's got a total of, I think it's like I want to say it's like less than 50 yards for the entire season.
He's got 30 yards the first game.
Yeah, he's got he's got 7 receptions for 52 yards in 2 games, and he plays 96% of the snaps.
How many targets?
Let's see, targets 14.
14 targets. So
what is that? Maybe second most on the team, first most on the team. He's also the highest paid receiver on the team. Michael Pittman Jr. is not playing good enough. He's just not. He's not playing good enough. And I don't care, what anybody. You can tell me whatever you want. You can say, hey, we're trying to pass the ball around. Yes, there's some coaching in it. But what if Michael Pittman Jr. is your first progression, right? And he just cannot get open. He can't throw the ball to himself, and AR isn't accurate. Right? Michael Pittman Jr. should be able to, at this point in his career, run every route in the route tree as a number 1 receiver and find a way to get open. The best wide receiver ones in the league will find a way to get the ball in their hands. And if you are paid like a wide receiver 1, it means you are one of the best 15 wide receivers in the league, and you deserve the most criticism out of the entire group. To say, A.D. Mitchell dropped the ball. A.D. Mitchell is a rookie. He was also open 3 times last week, and we couldn't get the ball to him. So now we're saying, well, AR's new. He's not accurate yet. He can't get the ball to a wide open receiver. But now we're saying, in Pitt's defense, he can't throw the ball to himself in AR. So what is it? Is it Michael Pittman Jr. can't get open? Is it AR is too young and we can't get it to him? What is Michael Pittman Jr. doing as the leader of this wide receiver core, the highest paid wide receiver on the team, to help set the tone for his young quarterback? This is all on Michael Pittman Jr., and I'm not placing the blame on anybody else but him. Again, there needs to be some accountability. We've got to stop being comfortable as Colts fans to defend every top player. Unlike the defense, which is all 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks, this offense is mostly 1st and 2nd round picks. And Michael Pittman Jr. is the best receiver in this room today. I don't think he's the long-term. A.D. Mitchell will eventually surpass him as the best receiver in this room. I don't care what anybody tells me. I've seen enough of A.D.
Wrong.
Mitchell. No, 100%. I've seen enough of A.D. Mitchell to tell you that he will become a better receiver. But right now, Michael Pittman Jr. has to be the leader of this receiving core, and he's not playing like it. Point blank, period.
What you think, Ron?
I mean, I won't necessarily disagree. I went back and watched the games, one more time, yesterday and the day before. And I will say this, AR has missed some throws to him outside the numbers, which is what you expect young quarterbacks to struggle with, when you get those comebackers and those deep, outs in the corners and all that stuff. Those are hard throws to make. You expect veteran quarterbacks to make those throws. But I also saw a couple where, Pittman played flat. And, I will say, we have more options at the receiver position. I've seen times where we've moved Pittman around just to try to get him involved, because the way Pierce works on our offense is he's the Y. All right. He's never in the slot. He's never going to be the X. Now that you add A.D. Mitchell into that equation, he can play the X, but he's primarily going to play the slot, especially now that Downs is hurt. So, Pittman does need to be better. But you gotta let it work itself out a little bit, in my personal opinion. Through 2 games, he should have done more, but I'll give it some more time to see what Shane Steichen tries to do to get him more involved. Because if AR's not going to get better throwing the ball outside the numbers, that's the bread and butter for Pittman. Is one-on-one on the outside, he can run his basic routes and he can win. We'll see, but he does need to demand the ball. If you believe you're a 1 and you get paid like a 1, why aren't you speaking up and saying, hey, man, he's missing me on the outside. Put me on the inside. You know, AD's got speed to beat guys over the top. So does Pierce. You know, you can use big guys in the slot. Like there is some sort of advantage to that. And I know that Shane knows that. So I think Pittman, will do better as the season goes on. But there's nothing wrong with criticizing him. He hasn't played great the first 2 games. He has not. He has not.
If you look at like Devontae Adams, if you look at like Stephon Diggs before he got to Houston, if you look like some like the best top 15 receivers, their coaches use them everywhere. And we don't. It's so weird to me that we haven't like. I mean, I guess like last week we kind of did, but it was like over the top middle. We don't really attack the middle of the field, and maybe Josh Downs helps with this.
Yes,
because we really do not attack the middle of the field. And I think Josh Downs will help with this, but again, I think it's a combination effort. I don't think it's all on Pittman, right? But I do think he does. If we're looking at just the receiver group, he does deserve the majority of the fault within that group because he's the leader. Just like you want to play, there's leaders of every position, whether you like it or not, and he is the position leader of that group. And so he will get the most of the blame, especially if he's not playing well. And I don't think he's playing well. And I do think that, you know, if he's the one that's, like you said, if he demands the ball and he drops a few, it's still his fault. But this offense has been stagnant, and I don't think he has been involved enough or forced to be involved enough to help prevent that from happening.
Quick comment. The last game against the Packers, we had, 1 third down conversion? Where's Michael Pittman on 3rd down? All right, get him involved on 3rd down. What are we doing? You know what I mean? Michael Pittman should be grown enough to say something. Hey, coach, it's 3rd down. Get me here, get me there, do something. You know, there's got to be more communication on things like that. And I think it'll work itself out over time. But that's a telling stat. Michael Pittman should be a 3rd down guy, and yet we had 1 3rd down conversion against the Packers, and it wasn't converted by Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I do want to add on that, touch on that part. He could, him being a captain, he could, like you say, he could go to Reggie Wayne or go to office coordinator and say, hey, I need to be more involved. Like you said, on 3rd down, give me the intermediate routes to get this 1st down like we have. And he passed his past 4 years. He's done. He can do that. He's a captain now. He can have a voice. He can be vocal, not be a diva, but be vocal to say, hey, guys, get me involved. I don't want 15 targets in one game like I did last year, but I want to be involved on 3rd down to get move the chains for my young quarterback. But I want to add on to the comment to Teresa. She wants to know who's going to play for Buckner. They signed Rashawn Davis to man that spot, so he can be the new guy that can be manning his spot going forward for at least 4 weeks. And Sean mentioned about tight ends. I haven't seen our tight ends do well for these 2 weeks. I'm not sure we even have any anymore. I think since Woods got hurt out for the year, I think the whole room got hurt. I haven't seen Moelle Cox. I haven't seen Granson. I haven't seen Mallory. I don't know where the guys at. I don't know. I mean, did we release all of them?
I don't really use them. Yeah. Again, so, yeah. we still do not utilize Kylan Granson, and I think he's our best tight end. I don't know why.
Will Downs, he should be back. I know his schedule recovery time was like 4 to 6 weeks, and I think his 6th week was been this past Sunday was his 6th week, I think. So he should be. He practiced. He'd been practicing last week, past 2 weeks. He's been practicing. He just didn't play.
Yeah, I think he might be back this week. I hope so. We desperately need him.
We do.
All right, Adams. Appreciate all the comments, man. Thank you for running numbers up, man. We always appreciate you coming on the show. So thank you. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up with our last part of the show. Let's go out. Let's get our predictions on this last game, on this week 3 game. Bears at the Colts. What are your predictions? Ron?
I'm gonna go 23-20 Colts, baby. Let's go. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman are gonna get this thing going. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it right this Sunday. This could be a trap game though, because we're missing some bodies, and that defense of Chicago's is pretty stout. They actually play very hard. They got a good pass rush, but I saw some things there we should be able to take advantage of. We should be able to run the ball, play complementary, play action, let AR be complimented. And I still got faith that run defense is not going to give up 200-plus yards a game. If we get ran all over by the Chicago Bears this Sunday, then I will join the Fire Gus Bradley train faster than anybody has ever joined a train in my life, because there is no reason why that team should be able to run the ball against our defense, even without two starters. I'm going to say that again. Even without two starters, the Bears should not have 100 yards rushing against our defense. Not even 100. I think we're going to find a way to win. Matt Gay's going to kick a game-winning field goal.
Oh,
No.
that's a bold prediction.
He's going to get it done, baby. He's been bad, but it only matters when you make the big ones. Let's make a big one.
Gotcha. What about you, Arish?
Yeah, I have no confidence in this team. I think we're going to lose this game. I think Caleb Williams is going to have his way against the secondary. I just until I can see this team, I'm in a space now that's really negative about the Colts, where it's like until I can see you guys do it, I have no reason to believe anything otherwise. And 17 missed tackles through 2 weeks is disgusting. until I can see them tackle the ball, I don't think they win this game. Like, I do think, like, DeAndre Swift goes crazy. Like, I think he might get like 150 yards. And DeAndre Swift was actually, like, once he got out in space, he was having his way with the Texans defense last week. And I think they find a way to get him out in space. I think this might be the one game where Caleb Williams might have his breakout game. He hasn't played well. And listen, I want the Colts to win so bad, but I have to like retemper my expectations because this team is just not very good. Like, I am so down the negative Nancy train. It's crazy. And I did not expect to be like this. I thought we'd start the season 3-0. This just talent on those defenses is atrocious. And we're missing our best player on the defense. We got here, DeForest. And I have no faith that this team can tackle because they haven't been able to show it through 2 weeks. I think we lose like 25-20.
Not bad. It's still a close game.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be close because I think the offense will be fine, right? Again, you're learning through some stuff. This defense there's nothing that has convinced me that this defense is going to just automatically wake up this week and just be like, oh yeah, we're back. Yeah, I don't see it.
Oh man, come on, man. Have the faith, man. Well, hey,
I've had faith under this regime for 9 years. I'm done having faith.
I know Teresa said she got to get up out of here. Great show, guys. See you next week. I appreciate you, Teresa. You've always been
thank you.
Supportive of us, so thank you. She have a comment. You guys, he's not going anywhere. He's always here.
That's good, man.
Yeah, he's always here. So it's not like we miss him. He's still
Chris
here.
is never gone, man. We always know what's up with him, and he's doing his thing. And congrats to him, man. Wishing him all the best.
Yep.
But my predictions, I got a close game as well. I got us winning 23-20. Not, I guess I got to go with the guy we paid last year, overpaid last year to win by a field goal. I do believe in Matt Gay. I know he had some bad games, but I do believe he'll kick a 53-yarder to win a game at home. But we got to win at home at some point.
That's another thing that drives me crazy. We spent $30 million on a kicker, but can't spend more than $10 million on a freaking linebacker or a guy in a second. That's so crazy to me.
Right. We'll put all the money in the world on a kicker, but we're going to put out 6th and 7th round picks at linebacker and corner, man. No resources going there at all. We got it figured out. So that is pretty crazy.
I think I've got it all out. I'm good for the next 3 days.
So hey guys, if you don't have any other comments, man, we're gonna get up out of here, man. And so it's nice having you on, Run. Appreciate you coming on.
Man.
And having your input on the games and the topics that we had. Anything you want to share for us, your socials? Where can we find you? What you got going? Where you gonna be at next Sunday to watch the game?
Oh, nah, man. I just got Facebook, man. I'll tell you what, though. I will be at Nissan Stadium in a couple of weeks watching our Colts play the Tennessee Titans. I will be there. Josh is going to be there. We're going to be throwing it down, man. So if you want to see me anywhere, you'll see me there in 2 weeks getting another set of keys from the dealership, as we always frequently do. So, but for the shoe, baby, let's go. I appreciate the invite, guys.
Yes, sir. We'll see you. We'll be seeing you, like I said, we'll see you on frequently. Rich, where can we find you, man?
Yeah, you can find me at the Uncle Gandhi, as always. I am, holding Chris Ballard accountable because nobody else will. I'm very good at doing that. So, like I have been for the last 3 years. I appreciate everybody joining the train. Welcome on board. I'm hoping we can turn this around. But a selfish part of me hopes we don't, so that we can get rid of them because I'm tired of them. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
What about on Thursdays?
Oh yeah, Thursdays you can find me, the number one team in the land. 16 years in the making at Texas Longhorn Fan Battle Podcast. Thursday nights 8:30 with my boy Tim Wayne. We break down everything and anything on the 40. This week we got a lot to talk about as Arch Manning's first start is as the number one team in the country.
What happened with? I mean, not to be funny. What happened with Uris? He's hurt, or they just?
When he had some, again, he just gets hurt. Like he had some weird. I think they said it was an abdominal strain. They're calling it week to week, but we play UL Morrow this week. I think they just sit him. We play, probably I didn't even know like this was possible for an SEC team, but we play Mississippi State next week, so that's a W. And then we get a bye week, and then Red River. So, well, I think he rests the next 3 weeks. He'll be ready to go for Red River.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If Arch plays lights out, do you think they refuse to go back to Ewers? And because I think he might be the better quarterback.
No, I don't think he's the best. Today, people have to realize until he got hurt, Quinn Ewers is the best quarterback in the nation. Like he was number one in the Heisman polls. He went to Michigan and he basically dog walked, let's just say, a bad Michigan team. He's been to Alabama. He's beaten Alabama. Quinn Ewers has experience.
He has played well in a lot of big games too. But
we don't know how Arch plays in Red River. Red River, like for those of you guys that don't know Red River, it is completely different from any away game. This is not like going to Alabama. It is not like going to Michigan. It is completely different. It literally, the field is split down the middle in 50, like 50-50, right? So by the time you cross midfield, like half the field feels like it's a home game. The other half of the field, as soon as you cross the 50, feels like a road game. Like it is completely different from any experience. And so that's going to be different. And look, I think Arch is going to get his time. He's going to learn. He's going to get these next 2 weeks valuable playing time. But I do not feel comfortable sending Arch into Red River. I think that would be setting him up for failure. This team is still the best under Quinn Ewers, but we will get a title under Arch over the next 2 years. I don't doubt it at all.
Well,
hell yeah.
As a SEC fan, I hope you guys shit the bed. But we're gonna get out of here, guys. You can follow me at Who Is Josh Senior on Twitter. You can follow us every Tuesday night at 9:30 Eastern time. And yeah, we're gonna get up out of here. But before we get out of here, guys, you know the drill, guys. Sam loves Jalen Ramsey, and she loving me more because her team is 0-2 as well.
That's true. That is very true.
Hey, what about Trevor